you are, we want to talk a little bit about Cornerstone Baptist and what you're doing.
Absolutely.
What you got?
Let's pray together. Our great God and Father in heaven, we come before you today humbly, recognizing who you are and all of your majesty and power, your glory. Father, we declare that you have, by virtue of being the Creator, absolute authority, the right to rule over our lives and all of your creation. Father, as your servants, we would ask that you would forgive us of all of our sin, personal sin, corporate sin, sin as a nation. For Lord, there are many ways we have walked away from you. We have rejected your word as a country, as a nation. We have created laws, Lord, that make evil good and good evil. We've allowed sins, Lord, that you call an abomination to permeate our culture and our lives. Our families are broken. Communities are broken. And Lord, we need you. We pray, oh Father, that as you forgive our sins, that you would pour out your favor upon us. That we would see, Lord, the transformation of lives through the glory and the power of the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. We pray, Father, that Jesus would be Lord and Master of all. We know, Lord, that you have given the nations to him. You have said in your word, the nations were given to your Son, Jesus Christ. You have said that he will rule over the nations, that he will judge, and he will have his word, his will, and his way. Father, you have commanded the kings of the earth, the leaders of the earth, to bow before the Son, to give homage to the Son, to kiss the Son, lest he become angry and they be destroyed in their way. So, Father, we come before you trembling, Lord. We understand and we know the fear of the Lord, the reverence of the Lord. So, Father, as these who are appointed to lead this county gather together to do the business of the county this morning, we pray that their mind and their heart would be upon you. We are nothing more than your servants. We are to find out what your will is, and we are to do your will, whether we are pastors or whether we are leaders in the community. Our will doesn't matter. Only your will should be done. That's what we pray. So, Father, bless them and give them wisdom and understanding and the fear of God, that they might do what is right in your sight. And, Father, we pray for this county to be a place where the saving gospel is able to be freely shared. Many, many lives, Lord, are without saving grace this morning, without the hope of heaven. We pray that your gospel would go forth in power, just as Paul said, that the gospel is the power of God and the salvation of all who believe. We pray that many would come to believe. This world, this beginning right here in Washington County, would be transformed and changed. We would see your will be done. So bless us today, Lord. Not just those that are part of the board, but those that come to participate, Lord. Give us all a spirit of humility, a spirit of cooperation, a spirit of conviction, that we would stand for what is right and do your will. And all of this, Lord, we pray in the precious and powerful and glorious name of the only Savior of heaven and earth, Jesus Christ. Everybody say,
Amen. And the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Watch County Board of our session. I will call for you to preside pursuant to the judge.
Thank you all. Pastor Mann, if you would tell us a little bit about what you are doing at Cornerstone briefly, and we're going to get into some other business with Cornerstone with the voting precinct.
I am Chad Franklin, senior pastor at Cornerstone Baptist Church here in
Outstanding. You're in, Cornerstone South is in District 1, Supervisor Gordon's district, right, Lee?
No, that's not,
Who is
no,
that?
not at Colorado and,
No. South.
oh, yes, the new place.
3031 Highway
Yes,
South.
yes, it is,
Now,
yes.
now, what's important is they're going to allow us to continue to use Cornerstone South as a voting precinct. It is now on the books as Swiftwater Baptist Church. I don't know the precinct number, but it's important that we get it spread across the minutes. And we accept that. We pass that information on to the circuit clerk so she can get it registered at the Secretary of State's office in Jackson for voting purposes. Then there should be notification, even though the name has changed, it is still a voting precinct. This is a procedural thing we'll have to do that. 3031 Highway 1 South, which is now Cornerstone Baptist, will be a voting precinct. That's the old Swiftwater. Now, it's not that we have to give permission, anything else, but we have to adopt. So I need a motion to adopt or accept the offer for Cornerstone to use that as a voting precinct. Or what is the proper
So
language?
moved.
Point of information.
Is to continue to use it, with the name change and the authority of the church. Because you gotta include the name change.
That's all we're doing, just a name change, that's it.
Right.
Well, they've done it.
I mean,
We're-
officially with
No,
the county.
right.
Yeah, for our records, you're right. Now, we need a motion, accepting with the name change.
Second,
Who gave me the motion? Tommy. All right, it's been properly moved and second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, we'll get the minutes to the circuit clerk. She'll take care of the rest of the information and communicate with the election commissioners, and they'll communicate with the voters who use that precinct. Did I miss anything? Mr. Attorney?
No, just the record reflect that this is a continuation of the whole precinct with a new ownership, a new church, and a name change only.
Outstanding.
Yes.
All right. Pastor, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we'll make sure that everybody understands that the business address is the Colorado, the Reed Road address. We got that worked out.
Let me say thank you for letting me come. It's a pleasure to come and be here to give the opening prayer and share what God's doing in our Cornerstone South and our church. I'm going to go ahead and step back because I have another appointment in just a few minutes.
Great, we appreciate you. All right, the agenda.
So moved to approve.
I've got a motion to
Point
approve
of
any
information.
additions.
yes, I'd like to add NACO, National Association of Community Officials, conference to the agenda.
NACO conference, July 9th through
The 12th.
12th. We also want to remove item number 12 from the agenda. And that was a presentation for the Delta Blues Festival. Also, there's correction on the agenda. Number 6, that's Miss Rhonda Looney, Looney, instead of Rhonda Lee.
We can remove the NACO, it's in, Charlize's report, and, county
Okay.
administrative report.
All right, not a problem. All right, if there's nothing else, I need a motion to approve.
I made the motion already.
And a second already. All right, all in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the minutes.
So moved to approve.
Got a motion, need a second? And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
One abstention.
One abstention, Ms. Brooks. Okay, Economic Development Center, we've got Mr. Will Copies down, but Angelique, give us your name for the record since you're not Will Copies.
Angelica Mosley, I'm the
Angelica.
workforce coordinator at the Washington County Economic Alliance.
Outstanding.
And I first just by saying that the WCA is very excited about the groundbreaking that was hosted on last Tuesday for the fast-paced health. It's a primary care provider which will be available 7 days a week. And they are now seeking applications for providers, nurses, X-ray techs, medical assistants, front office specialists, as well as
touched by the thing, like, so, does the person have a felony, I mean, would they just go through a training or something?
Yeah, so it's just like, so with the innovation training, it works with the expungement clinic, which is with the Mississippi Bar now. So, we do have a partnership with, Simmons and Simmons as well to work on that.
And so if they need to get some type of, workforce training, just contact you and
Yes,
y'all give them
ma'am.
the program. Is it any program or just with, CAPS?
So, we have had a partnership with Grant Allied Healthcare, which is the local healthcare school here with Miss Olivia Grant.
Thank you.
Any more questions for me? I'm very simple and short.
Thank you, Angelica.
Thank you.
I don't see any questions. We appreciate everything that you do. Mark Hooker. Morning.
Last week, we received bids on, BR 7604. That's the, last, project of the VR series, and it is on Murphy Road down in southeast Washington County. And, we had, three standard paper bidders, you know, that supplied bids like they normally do, and one electronic bid that, Mark handles for us. And, all of us should have in front of you, so the bid tabulation.
I got a question.
Bids.
We just had a situation about, electronic bidding. And we had to throw a bid out, so you received paper bids.
We received 3 paper bids and 1 electronic bid.
Attorney
As per the
Griffin,
state law.
please advise, because we just did a situation, with our current engineer, and he did paper bid, and we had to throw the bid out, and we had to rebid it all over again. So what about this situation right now? Same difference, engineering firm, and we were advised that we had to do electronic bidding on everything.
We
Well,
did do electronic bid.
I mean, but you got 3 paper bids.
Let me let the attorney answer.
You could do, especially with respect to, construction contracts. You could, the law says you do electronic as well as you gotta accept paper bids as well on construction contracts.
I guess the concern, well, why did we have to throw the other bid out then?
Because there was no, electronic bidding.
Oh, you're saying you have a choice, it's privy, it's
Right.
either or.
No. You do both on construction contract. But, with respect to the prior bid, there was no, electronic.
I got you,
bidding.
it's, I mean, you can do either paper or electronic. Okay, just getting
Both.
clarity.
No,
I know,
no,
I mean,
no,
I'm
no.
saying you can do
No,
both.
No. The law says you gotta receive paper bids on construction contract. However, you do electronic bids as well, all right? And you receive both on a construction contract.
Okay.
You cannot just do one.
I got you, you can do both of them,
Right.
okay.
Lee?
That's it.
No, we did include the law.
Yeah, you're fine.
Now, I was just getting clarity for myself, because I was not familiar.
Yes.
The low bid after we tabulated the bid results is, J.J. Ferguson, sand and gravel out of Greenwood. The low bid amount was $1,479,796.63. And, we recommend that the board approve and award the bid to the low bidder, J.J. Ferguson, sand and gravel, in the amount of $1,479,796.63.
Questions?
Oh,
Lee?
obviously, that's a large bridge. At that, so, okay.
It's a big bridge across a pretty big channel, it's real wide at the top, it's right on the top bank of the Slough River. It has some soil mobility issues, and, we had to do some geotechnical work on it. They're gonna pin the slope, stop the slide. There was an old bridge there, and the slide pretty much took the old bridge out. And, so we're gonna pin the slide and then build a bridge across it. And, Mark has the design of the bridge where we span the slide area after we fix it. And, like I said, it's a pretty big bridge, and we do that, you remember the board advised, asked us to send all of our closed bridges to MDOT, you know, in trying to receive the ERBR fund. And, this was the one that MDOT chose, you know, for the county.
So move to approve.
Point of information, got a question. You said MDOT chose this for our county to do.
That's right.
Is that the norm for them?
Do it.
I mean, doing EBR, they normally do that for counties?
ERBR they don't normally do it, it's a special program, and, you submitted your request to the state, of bridges that you wanted funding, and, this county chose to submit all the closed bridges, and MDOT chose off of that list which ones that they would fund. So that's, you know, the way it was set up to do, the way it was done statewide, and this is the one that they chose for.
Did they send us a letter to that effect, or they just sent it to you?
No, they sent a board a contract, and the board signed the contract with the, MDOT to do these projects.
And when did we sign this contract?
Last year, before last.
2019.
Okay.
Any other questions? I need a motion, I need a second to the motion. This is the last project, right?
The last BOS project.
Okay, I've got a motion to approve. I need a second. I'm not able to second. This is one that we signed a contract with and signed a contract for. Yes,
That the money would
come from ERBR project, Emergency Bridge Fund.
and,
That's coming from the state.
There's some LFPP fund we need, Mr. McGee, and it might be good to have in order to give the board president authority to sign all the documents to MDOT pertaining thereto. And, that would, give us, you know, in order the board to use, state aid funds to match the ERBR to get it going. I have that court order for you drawn up.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. If there are no other questions, all in favor of the approval of this project with the signature of the president to get it moving forward? Show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
One abstention. 'Cause
Any
I would-
opposed?
One abstention, because I
I got
would
one
hate when y'all
abstention,
did
Ms.
that.
Mr. Redmond? Mr. Redmond opposed. I got one abstention. I got three. McGee, Benson, and Gordon.
Let me rephrase,
So it's good.
let
That
me
motion
change
carries.
my, sir, let me change mine to, oppose. From
Okay, I got
abstention
two
to
opposed.
oppose.
I got two. Redmond and Brooks
Where
opposed.
is this bridge located?
That's is down in southeast Washington County. That's Jerry's district.
That's in his
I
district.
sit here and I'm talking about this Fur Road Bridge, and I have got, working on the Fur Road Bridge, that is the bridge that is necessary, that is the bridge that the people are using. People that did up with this bridge in 30 years almost. So I am focused on the bridge that we need to use, where we can get people to and from, when they start harvesting, when they going to church. People complain about that, I ain't never hear them complain about that.
Mayor,
Call.
I'm James.
That- Hold on before. Those, the ones we approved, Jerry, all of us approved back then. That was what we turned into the state to do that. We all approved those bridges to be done. When we got that $5 million, that was what that was for. Because we were asked which ones we wanted to do. And I mean,
The vote.
we've already approved. Okay,
Okay.
I'm just saying, we've already approved those, for that. I think you're making a bad mistake.
I gotta get to Ms. Brooks.
My biggest concern is that state aid arbitrarily just picked the bridge in Washington. Sir,
Hold
no.
up, Mark, hold up.
Hold on,
Go
I
ahead,
just
Ms.
asked the question of what he
Please.
said. My only concern is, the county did submit bridges. And the concern is for them to just arbitrarily just pick a particular bridge and not talk to the supervisor, District 3, you know, the county, to find out what is effective. And he's making a very valid point. Why would we put money, this kind of money, to a bridge that's not being used when he needs other bridges in his district done? So I think we need to go back and not use county money arbitrarily when we need to repair real bridges that's being used. We have to take care of that. We just can't arbitrarily just go and repair a bridge that we're not really using. So that's why I'm voting with Mr. Redmond on this one.
All right, let me do this. Give me 1 second. Back when the state came up with the emergency bridge fund, and they allocated Washington County X number of dollars, they asked us for a list of bridges that we would submit to the state, and they would select the bridges out of that list. We may have had 10 or 12 or more than that we submitted. And they went through a process, not just this county, but other counties, to access these emergency funds from the state, not county dollars. So, the bridges in different districts were picked out, and this just happened to be one of them, Mark Jr.
I just want to say, we submitted, I believe, over 20 applications for all the bridges, so it wasn't 10 or 12.
20,
Yes, sir.
and they were selected out of that. Lee, I'm sorry.
The thing about it is, if we don't do this, Jerry, I don't even know if you can redirect those funds, and now,
No.
That was understood to me, you can't redirect.
okay, so we're gonna lose that, we're gonna lose those funds.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna lose that bridge,
We gonna get a bridge going nowhere. That's the same thing.
I'm on the same page
Well,
with that.
But y'all do is one for, I'm getting.
I'm voting
all
eight.
right, well, the thing about it is, Jerry, if you lose those funds coming from the state, you don't repair that bridge, you still owe for the engineering fees that's already been done, so we're gonna pay for something that we're not gonna get. And then it just, those funds are coming from the state. We turned all those bridges in. You voted on that to turn those bridges in, and that's the ones we turned in. Now, you're talking about 2 years ago. I don't know, I mean, yeah, you can vote no against it, but I just think you're making a mistake on it,
What I would like to say about this, yeah.
Wait, no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The only thing I was saying is, point well taken. You're right, this was done 2 years ago, and I think if the state arbitrarily picked 2 bridges from 2 years ago and don't follow back up with the county on where they're going, I mean, we holding state aid accountable. As a matter of fact, the MAS meeting, supervisor was very disappointed, white and black, Democrat, Republican, on some of the work that state aid is doing. So I just think that's a disservice to the Washington County that they go pick a bridge 2 years later, not follow up with Washington County to see where is this bridge, is it still effective or not, what works better in your county. Using state dollars, federal dollars for a bridge to go to nowhere is never acceptable when you have bridges that need to be repaired.
So, Jerry, nobody lives on the other side of that bridge?
You gotta let me go, Tom.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Tommy.
I feel like we need to take this in executive session
Okay,
for discussion.
I don't think
It
you
needs to be discussed.
can you agree? I don't think it qualifies for executive session.
There's some potential litigation that may arise out of this, so you can at some point discuss it in executive session.
Well, all funds will come out of state aid, so all the design and everything else, that'll be paid. We'll just fail to
I
get the
don't want to
project.
lose the money at the same time. I don't want to vote for a bridge that the supervisor don't want done and it's in his district, because if it was me, I wouldn't want you all to do something in my district that I didn't want done.
Understood.
Hold on, let me say something here. When those 20 bridges were sent out, we as a board, not Ms. Brooks, but we as a board, approved that, 100%. When those come back to us, the ones they chose, you can check the minutes. We as a board accepted all of those bridges. How many was it total that we redone? 7 bridges. We as a board, you, myself, Jerry, every one of us voted for that list, for that $5 million. So not only once, but twice we submitted that bridge. And if we were gonna have an issue with it, we should have done it then. But we have all voted to do this, and now this can't be redirected. You're gonna lose a bridge that potentially one day that we have to fix. Is $1.5 million that would come from the county. This is coming from state funds. So we're losing basically $1.4 million when we've got it sitting here ready to fix. It may not be, but it's very, very many people that cross that road. But one thing I do know, if there's one person that crossed that road, that's an important bridge to them. So I'm just saying, this is a very bad mistake. If we deny finishing this bridge, we're gonna lose that money. That's a bad mistake.
That's why I'm moving to go in executive session.
Can I offer this?
Yeah, because let me tell you where I am, Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
We have a vote and a 3-2, 2 nays, 3 that voted yea.
Well, I heard.
I didn't carry.
Withdrawn.
I didn't carry the motion. Now, he still has the option to change,
I did,
and he's changing. So your vote now is what?
his name.
You got 3 nays. Any other questions?
To go in executive session.
But you got 3 nays. Anything else, Mr. Griffin?
Let me offer this. The executive session would not be appropriate at this point.
No, can't do it.
However, at some point, as I said earlier, the failure to move forward on this and the consequences of it may result in the need a bishop for an executive session at some other point. Okay?
I understand.
Yes.
All right. now we have a motion on the floor, a 3-2, and that is nay against the moving forward of this project
You
and
mean
accepting.
2-3.
3-2, right. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, the first was
2-3.
2-3.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. It fails on the lack of 3 days. You got it? Anything else?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Mr. Hooker, when did the county vote to authorize the publication of this particular project?
In 2019, y'all, the board approved the plan for these projects. It's like, hired us as, of course, the county engineer to do it and move forward with all the work necessary to get them advertised.
So the advertising was authorized in 2019.
Like I said, when we were selected engineer, we were told to
Yes.
do all the design work, necessary advertisement, and the documentation to make these projects meet the BOR standards. And there's about a 10-item checklist that we have to check off, which the GS signs show that we met all of those items. Instead of just like advertising locally, we had to advertise them in a statewide publication to meet the MDOT requirements. And all those were done in their county.
All right, any other questions? All right, this motion fails. Ms. Hooker, we appreciate y'all's time.
I do have one question. Where does that money go? Does it go now that does it go back to the state?
You go back to the state, you'll use some county.
All right,
The money is still out of the state, we won't get it unless you were to approve it, and we were to submit these 10 documents.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I said, the money is currently out of the state, 1.3 billion of the 1.4 approximately is at the state. They sent some to you, that money will have to be returned. And so the remainder of it is out of the state until we submit the documents for y'all to award it. And if you were to award it, they would send you $1.3 billion, if not, it would just stay there.
So to make sure that I'm right on this, so we're just not gonna fix this bridge. The money's gonna be sent to us from the state. We're not gonna be able to fix this bridge for the reasons because we voted on it twice to fix it, and now we're rejecting it. That's unbelievable.
Well,
Anyone
I
else?
would like
Anyone
to
else?
add on, the only concern I have about this right here, again, I just think state aid is dropping the ball when we, have situations like this, because they had 7 bridges coming from the engineer that they could pick from. I think they should have reached back out to not only our county, any county, if they're just gonna pick bridges for a county to identify what is really important in your county. If you're picking a bridge that goes to nowhere, that's disservice to our county, to the, and state dollars. They could have easily reached out to the president and said, we're looking at this particular bridge, and then if they want to pick that bridge, he reached out to to our supervisor. So the concern is, I think we need to send a letter to state aid to hold them accountable on picking bridges like this without consulting with the county.
Absolutely not.
That's my opinion.
Not me.
And that's a
Absolutely
concern of other people. That came out of MAS. You had a lot of supervisors concerned with them.
All right, let me say this. Each supervisor submitted their own list.
Exactly.
Each supervisor submitted their list. You could have submitted 12 bridges in your district to make the complete list of 20 plus that we submitted as a county. But each supervisor submitted their own list. Now, we're gonna move on from that. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Well, he
Mr.
said
Mo,
that. He
I'm sorry.
said it was state aid. I
Ms.
don't know
Looney.
what he said.
Ms. Looney, would
You
you come up,
said,
please?
but I didn't.
We're on
You
number
said it,
6
I
right
didn't.
now on the agenda. Ms. Looney is here to talk to us regarding the Jim Henson Museum. And, Ms. Looney, go ahead and share with us if you would, please, and, then I have some comments that, I'll make.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me on your agenda. My name is Rhonda Lundy, and I'm the curator and general manager for the Jim Henson Delta Georgia exhibit at Lakeland. And the county, as you know, owns the building and the grounds right around the building. And the building has gotten in such poor condition that it's really embarrassing. And,
gone through this right here? Have you gone through what she's talking about? All right, the projects that she's, talking about, have you looked at all these projects? I know y'all started, and I know you still started on some of them.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess the biggest concern is at this point, what's the time frame that we can get these projects, repaired?
Well, on this project, we actually just started looking at everything we need to get done. I'm get an engineering report as far as dealing with that structural problem we have on the side where the temperature came off. But I do have some person that I just recently hired
Right.
that's over there doing that work, and he stated that we can do that, we can get that work done. So we're in progress, we're in process now. We also
So-
looked at doing the flooring too for her, so we just gotta get her to pick out the flooring that she wants. We can get that done too.
So we, at this point, we are a work in progress, am I correct?
Yes, it is, and it wasn't when I got on the agenda, but, that's why I wanted to tell you that, you know, it is, those first two pictures on there, they did, I don't know if the lawnmower hit that on that second picture where it says damage to the wall,
Okay,
or
I'll get to the-
a car ran into it, it looks like something ran into it. They repaired that, and they put new rails on where you walk in, the entrance,
Okay.
and across the front, but they still gotta attach it.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
since
Yeah.
we are work in progress, can we get a report in 2 months to see where we are on this
Well,
project?
let me shift it where I wanted Ms. Newton to come and
Okay.
give you that report. Lee?
I've been by there, the inside very nice, y'all keep it very nice, but walking under and around it and everything, it's way too much for in-house work. This is gonna have to be something that's gonna have to be looked at as, you know, as bidding some of this out. Our engineer's gonna have, it's way too much work for our guys to do this, and to really, to make it where it needs to be, with the walkways and stuff like that. So I think, you know, as far as maybe putting the floor in, you know, our guys can do that, but when it comes to the outside, I think we need to get, you know, some outside help on this, because it's been neglected way too long, and we won't get anywhere if we do it, our guys.
Now, I was told that we just got a new gentleman who is a contractor.
He just, but this right here, you're gonna have to roll some resources in on, it's in pretty bad shape. Like I said, I went up under it, and even that, I just think the engineers need to take a look at it and come back with some, to just a facelift outside, you know, and the bridge and the walkways, because I think it's too big for us.
All
Now,
right,
the walkway, I agree, that project probably like a $300,000 project, so that's a whole nother ball, because it's really, Gardner Engineer did gave some specs on what it took, and actually I put it in the application that we submitted for federal dollars. I agree, but I think more so, we just more so concerned about the facade, am I correct?
Well,
Basically, but I know you really can't fix that without.
Yeah,
well, the one thing I was talking about, you know, on the sides.
yeah, I'm talking about
walkway,
just the
yeah.
facade of the
But I didn't know
facility.
if what y'all,
All right.
you know, the walkway going across the creek.
Okay.
I wasn't talking, you know, just
All right.
around the
Let me hear
sides.
from Lorenzo, then I'll share with you all why I asked her to come here to share this with you. Lorenzo, you got something to say?
I just want to know about the scope. Is the scope, is it,
Let me do this for you before you go any further. Let me do this for you before you go any further with that word scope. We talked about this almost a year ago, if not longer. You use that same word, scope of the project. You can see what needs to be happening, what the scope of the project is. If you come back and make a recommendation from an engineering standpoint to break it up in different parts of a project, that's fine. The scope of the project is completely rehab this county-owned facility and to make sure it's structurally sound. Now, having someone who's not an engineer or has architectural experience to deal with these sidewalks that will be holding visitors, they have to have certain weight capacities. So this is just not something anybody can do. And we didn't just start talking about this. She's extremely frustrated. I'm extremely frustrated and embarrassed because it's a county-owned facility. I needed this report because we're going into budget session, and you all will be asked to put money in to start this rehab project, whether it's using our engineer with assistance from an outside contractor, whatever. But this can no longer continue to be neglected. We've got to fix it.
Well, I was with, the understanding, Don, didn't you bring an engineer
he's the engineer.
Yeah, I knew you were, so, we've had an engineer,
Yeah, we, in that time, we did do a scope, and we had like a 70, probably put the numbers wrong, but it was like $75,000 to do, outside the, walkway, and I think, Mr. Dunn already relocated the, air conditioning outside. So, I mean, we have that price out there for contractors to do it. So, I think Mr. Dunn was saying that he recently hired somebody to do it, but we're hearing two different sides, that we want to do it in-house, or we want to do a contract. That's why I'm saying it's scope. We want to do, what's the board decision on, are we going to have a contractor do it, or are we going to have our in-house people to do the design? So that's the question that I have.
Well, Mr. Anderson, if you look and you do those outside walkways, if you have a busload of visitors pull up, they're going to walk on those walkways, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're gonna have to withstand, or have to meet certain certifications or specs for building of gathering, right?
Yes, sir.
So is that an in-house job, or is that a professional job?
They can do it in-house. I mean,
All right, let's
It's
do
all
it
about,
in-house.
it's all about the work ethic of
You
the
got to give
people.
them in. If you do it in-house, and the bridge collapse, how much exposure do we have as a county?
the same exposure
If
if you get a contractor.
contract,
Well, a contractor come with liability insurance and
over
everything.
a period of time.
Okay.
I mean,
That's great.
after a year, then what?
All right, now, we gotta wrap this up.
The board,
But-
board members, this is what I would recommend, that the board authorize the engineer to come back if the price will exceed $50,000.
It's going to.
Then we need to advertise for outside bids. I would recommend, because of the limited, ability of our folks, if the price exceeds probably $30,000, that you advertise for bidders from the outside to do it. But that's the quickest, more expedient way to do it, and to authorize the specifications and to do it in one fell swoop, so it can be cheap.
Okay. Ms. Brooks, over here. Oh, y'all good?
No,
Oh,
I make a motion that we move forward because this can't wait any
No.
longer. I make a motion we move forward, engineers take a look at it, start developing some, plans of all of it, to be done. You may want to break it up in some different ones, but number one, we're not being effective in-house already doing the things that we're doing. We're not effective in what we're doing already, so we need to move forward with it. I don't think it needs to wait till budget session. By the time we get done with everything, get bids done, we'll almost need to start a new budget year anyway.
Good
So I
enough.
make a motion to that.
I've got a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed?
And I just wanna
Motion
say
carries.
this right here.
Go ahead.
I mean, so it won't be a reflection on anyone in particular. This is not a project just started.
No,
It's
no.
been a problem.
Yeah.
Probably, cause I go up there and I live in Leland. It's probably been a problem about a whole decade that was been overlooked altogether. So it's no reflection of nobody's work ethic within this administration I've been on.
Well,
I would
Ms.
say
Lynn?
that the city of Leland had come up with this creative park, which was gonna be like $2 million.
Right.
And I know before you came on, Maud,
I was on the
I talked
board.
to Mr. Amos, and he said that he had wanted to do something, but because of this creative park, they wanted to do another kind of bridge through there and everywhere, and that's why some of it got neglected.
Okay.
So, but I want something realistic.
Okay, well, let's be clear. I think this is a county-owned facility, not the city of Leland.
Right.
It's our responsibility, so what you see here falls right here.
Right.
And we're responsible, we're gonna take responsibility for it, we'll work it out. We appreciate your commitment to it, and everything you do to help, promote the Henson Museum.
Thank you all for having me, and I
Thank you.
will be getting back in touch.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Moe, Reverend Moe. Reverend Moe wanted to address us regarding the Lakely boat ramp. Can't hear you. It's on, it should be on. Isn't it?
Turn it on. There you go.
I'm
I'm here this morning on behalf of the local fishermen here in Greenville. Let me just give you just a brief history of our dealing with Lake Lee. I have been fishing Lake Lee for over 55 years. I was fishing Lake Lee when they had the park down there, when they had the convenience store up on the hill, the base store. And it was just a joy to go down there and catch fish, clean them, and come back to the park and fry fish right out the lake. And now all of that has been taken away. And my concern is that, and these fellows here are fishermen too. I'm soon to be 72 years old, and I might be the youngest out of, not the youngest out of the crowd. These fellows, we get up and we have to drive to Bolivar County. We have to drive to Lake Lee in order to fish, and that's all we do. That's our pastime. I'm a pastor, been pastoring over 40 years. That's all I do. But to have to pass one of the lakes that we've been fishing in all of our lives because they have closed the Deerfield land. And I thought that the wayside land belonged to the county, but I understand, Mr. Gordon, that we don't even own the wayside land. Because my recommendation would have been that until we can get a well, go down and repair that land so that we can at least land our boats. You go down there now, you can't land the boat unless you got a tractor or a four-wheel drive truck, and we don't have that. And I say this too, that when they closed up Niblett land in Whittington, that was a great blow because the only access you had to the Whittington then was through the North Allen Club. And you know that we could not go through North Allen Club. Even if they would allow it, we couldn't pay the membership fee. But some way, somehow, somebody decided to put Little Main land out there. And now we can go to Lake Whittington and fish because I don't know whether individual, I don't know whether some kind of supervisors had it done, but they got Little Main land out there. And it's a nice land. And we have to go there to fish. We have to go to Lake Washington to fish. And our appeal is to the supervisor because it's been a little over 2 years now that we have been patiently waiting to see whether or not the supervisor want to consider even the local fishermen that relate to Lake Lee. And nothing has happened.
Go ahead.
And nothing has happened. And we kind of feel like we're being neglected as local fishermen. And we want to appeal to the supervisor that we're looking for you all to get a ramp, a boat land, that we can land our boats and won't have to be worried about somebody working in our trucks. And concern, and I'll be through. We know that during the spring of the year, during fish spawning season, everybody in the country flocks to Lake Washington. And I don't have a problem with, people coming in from Illinois, Missouri, wherever they come all over this country to fish Lake Washington during spawning season. Our concern is this, that if we're gonna have fishery guidelines, gotta be guidelines not just for the locals, but it gotta be for those people that's coming in here. Because if I go fishing down in Lake Washington at 6 o'clock in the morning and I catch a prey, then that means I can't fish no more that day. And if I'm caught on the lake, I'm gonna get fined, or my boat gonna be impounded, or something like that. Our game wardens, they target the public lands. And there are private landers down there that are renting those cabins that these people are parking at and doing all this stuff. Game warden don't even be there. These people are fishing morning, noon, and all night, catching 5 and 6 crates of fish. And what they're gonna do is, that's really the only lake we have, they're gonna kill that lake. They are not just fishing, I promise you, when spawning season, those game water down there, you will drag out those 5-foot nets. They netting the fish out there. These people are not coming from Illinois just to catch a limit of fish and going back home. There's no fine been given to anybody that's coming from out of town.
Have y'all addressed the wildlife, the game and fish? I mean, y'all supposed to be in?
I haven't spoken to that. My first priority was bring it to the supervisor, because you all handle the game warden situation down there.
Say that again, brother.
We don't have any authority over it. Now, the president might speak to him, but we don't have any authority over the game warden. Now, that's nothing that falls under us, nor the sheriff's department. We have no authority on that whatsoever.
But Supervisor Gordon, but this board can take a stand and address concern on behalf of the citizens here in Washington County when we have people come outside and do what's going on. I'm not aware of that. But this board can take a stand and address the concern. Not saying we can tell them what to do, but put them on notice that this is taking place. We can just arbitrarily just say we can't do anything. This board can.
Yeah, let me do this. Let me do this real quick.
You are aware as well.
Let me say something real quick, if you all don't mind. We've had this conversation for the last few years. I've talked with Reverend Noble. And while having that conversation, I shared with him what I was doing with my phone with game and fish. At the time you see a violation, you can go to that website and file that complaint. I filed a complaint one day, we was on the phone. By the time I got to Lake Washington, the game warden was there. Yeah, we do have a direct line to them. Yes, these violations are serious, and we continue to repeatedly have it. But we are working with game and fish. Anytime a citizen files a complaint, they don't have to go through the website. They might not want somebody to see them playing with the phone. But you can go right to that website, file a complaint. They got a place for you, tell them exactly where you are. Somebody will come out. If you take a picture of a boat, I've never done that, and send that registration number in, they'll work with it. So yeah, we do have issues. Let me, here, come on, Ramo, one more. Ramo, go ahead. Ramo, you.
Don't,
Go ahead.
there was a complaint
Oh,
filed.
what's up? Okay.
There was a complaint filed concerning yo-yos. They was using, you had hundreds and hundreds of yo-yos,
Okay.
and they planted along the bank. Well, we try to get in and spawn fish. I think y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you cannot get up in there for those yo-yos, so we complained about that. And the complaint was that somebody was gonna get hurt. Because what was happening was, they would line the banks and up with yo-yos, and they'll go back to the store, to their cabin, and, just forget about those yo-yos. Now the local fishermen, has got to try to work our way through those yo-yos to keep them tripping one, because if that thing get tripped and hit you in the head, it'll snatch you out.
But
So
now,
what
let me,
started happening was.
You
the
said a
local-
yo-yo, I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
understanding. What is that?
but yo-yo is a legal, go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say anything regard to,
Right, but we're gonna have to wrap this up, come on.
But, the problem with Lake Washington, and I've fished it many, many years as well as Lake Lee. The problem with Lake Washington is that the complaints were large about yo-yos to the state. And instead of the state abandoning the prohibition against yo-yos, they simply said, you have to watch your yo-yos.
That's right, you
That
gotta-
is not the answer either.
And put your name on it.
Yes, but that is not the answer either, because the yo-yos are still all over the place. All you do is from time to time, you sit there and watch your yo-yo. That prevents the average fisherman from entering into the woods because of the danger of yo-yo. That's one problem. The second problem is this. There are people who are bringing refrigerated trucks in here.
Yeah.
Okay? And catching, the limit is 30 fish. They're catching 30 here, 30 there, several times a day, taking them into these mobile units that they rent, okay? And concealing them, and then taking them out of here, because up north, you can sell this fish. Right? You can't, game fish cannot be sold in the state of Mississippi. Up north, it can be sold. So as a consequence, that fish is being shipped up north and sold.
All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Jones?
Good morning, board. I too am a local fisherman, and one of the problems is, the state is really not gonna do anything because of the tourism dollars they receive for those non-resident fishing licenses. But I'm personal friends with the number 2 man, with the Mississippi Power Wildlife Fishing Department, his name is Lieutenant Colonel Gary Goff. You know, I took some classes at the college, and I believe that if the board invite the top brass of Mississippi Power Wildlife Fishing Department to have dialogue, I think something can be done. I do.
Well, why don't we make that request?
These
We
people
will.
that are coming in.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. I gotta get Ms. Brooks. I gotta get Ms. Brooks.
Okay, so the concern at this point, I think what our board should do, I think, and I'm gonna make a motion to this effect as well, that we, the board, send a letter officially, and I commend the work that you've been doing.
Let me get the phone.
Sir, let me get finished. Telephone is fine, but I think this board needs to send an official letter to the park rangers on what the concerns are and what the complaints is, and also put in recommendations on how to address the issue, like with the yo-yos. I know they're saying you manage it at a certain bay. I'm not familiar with this, but if we come in, we send a letter with concern in it, but also give recommendations. Then you give the state something to work with versus just addressing the problems, but also coming up with solutions. That's what this board can send to them officially, and that's my motion, that Washington County Board of Supervisors send a letter, the letter drafted by our attorney, send a letter to the park, where the park rangers are, addressing what wildlife fishing, addressing the concerns, and also giving solutions that works for Washington County. And I'd like for, this group to work with the attorney on, some of the solutions, because I'm not a fisherman, so I wouldn't know what solutions
Let
are.
me be clear about
And
something.
that's and sending a letter, we do need to send a letter.
All right, well, I'm gonna make a phone call, and we'll try to set up a meeting with, the Lieutenant Colonel, I think that Jerry Carter, and we'll work this out. But I have a motion on the floor to send a letter as well.
And we could do both. I mean, that way is a hard copy.
Let me try to get a second for the letter. There's a motion on the floor to send a letter as well with specifics, but I need a second for that letter from the attorney.
Second.
For the second, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Nay.
Does this, can we include the making contact with the or whoever the
No,
number you got?
I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You know, I fish Lake Washington, I understand the issues. I know exactly what they're talking about. So I don't know when the last time the attorney fished it or whatever, but, you know, we'll get the letter too.
Well, the thing about it is, I was at a meeting down at Lake Washington, they've got their association down there, and the yo-yos that was something the residents that live on the lake, have a problem with.
We needed to have a conversation with the residents.
That they were concerned with, and so That's something that they're fighting about.
Let me get, Pastor Mo, we gotta wrap this up.
But let me say this, President McGee, and I'll be through. That
Pull your mask down a little bit. Hey,
We gotta hear you.
most of these fellows that's behind me here, 5 to 10 years ago, we could go to Lake Washington and had no problem catching a 50 fish limit. But since those out-of-towners has started coming in, and I'm gonna tell you something, as a fisherman, and we know that they're gonna literally kill that lake. I don't care if you can drop the limit down to 10. They're gonna kill that lake. And then we will have nowhere to fish. Everybody that's fishing knows that we got Lake Ferguson across the lake. But you can't fish it because the water is up and down. The water is up and down. You don't get a spawn in Lake Ferguson. Don't get a spawn there. And we've lost 3 spawns in Lake Washington because the water is up during the spring of the year. Fish go back in the shallow water and lay their egg, and the water falls and the egg left on the bank. We didn't get a spawn. Along with those people coming in and doing what they're doing, they're gonna kill the only lake that we're gonna have, unless somebody takes some action on it.
All right, let me get Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, I just want to say. I'm not talking about, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about Pam business. I've been doing business with Pam ever since you had that store.
Hold up,
But
Remo.
right is just
Remo,
right.
hold what you got.
Okay.
Mr. Griffin.
I just want to say, as part of the letter, I'm going to invite them to engage in some dialogue about Lake Lee as well, because in Baldwin County, the Wildlife Fisheries and Park, we engaged in some dialogue about the Great River Road State Park within the past few years, and it's similar, okay? There was problems, people were not being allowed to fish there. So we may be able to engage them in some dialogue, and they may be able to help us find a suitable location.
Okay,
As well as, and certainly they construct the ramp, they'll construct public ramps if we can find a suitable location.
Game and Fish is on board with the Lake Lee project.
Yes.
They've agreed a minimum of 2 acres. It'd be nice to have 5. Those are their numbers. They're willing to spend the money to put in a boat ramp. We've missed an opportunity to improve the road up to the top of the levee where they would take over and go down the levee.
Right.
We're just waiting on the acquisition of the property.
Why did we miss the opportunity?
We haven't done anything with it in a year and a half.
So
We haven't acquired the property.
Because the county didn't acquire anything, I'm just lost, 'cause I don't know, that's what I'm asking.
Game and Fish is still on board. They've got the money to spend for the boat ramp, boat launch. Corps of Engineers is willing to come in and do some dredging. At that particular spot on Lake Lee, it's extremely low. And there's a channel that runs out into the river. They'll come, clear the channel out, and plus clear that part out right there at Wayside. Make it a little deeper.
So you talking about the same ramp at Wayside?
Yeah. All we gotta do is get the property. They're waiting on us.
So what we need to just buy, purchase it?
Yes, we have to purchase it.
What is the amount?
We never got to it. Mr. Griffin, you ever talk?
No, and the reason why, we have to first determine who owns that property.
I thought we did.
That's been, no.
Lee.
Yes, it is.
Let me hear from Lee. Gordon, Supervisor.
This was started, the prior attorney started it. And when the change was made, the attorneys, I don't know what progress has been made since then. I don't know if there's been any talk between y'all.
No.
I don't know. So the ball was dropped there. It just, we hadn't not been doing anything. The last that I'm like Carl, the last I heard that when our previous attorneys were working on it, that they were trying to find who actually owned there, because there was some questions about who the ownership of that landing. So that was it. From my understanding, then Attorney Griffin would take it over after that. So I don't know where it's been sent.
I asked about this Lake Lee 2 meetings ago. 2 meetings ago. I asked where we were and asked for an update 2 meetings ago.
What have you got?
Nothing. You sitting in here, you know ain't got nothing.
Well, I think at this point, we all agree it's a real concern.
Yeah, that's the point.
And so we just
The point is
move,
that it's
we move
a
forward
concern.
with it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'm glad y'all did come and bring it to us, cause I'm learning a lot about fishing. And maybe I need to start fishing.
Let me share this with you as well. I also need your help, Mr. Attorney, up on Lake Ferguson. The last access we had on the Lower Lake Road, to the lake, we had an issue some years ago with a property owner at the very end of Lower Lake Ferguson Road. This person, and they wanted to actually put a fence across the county road and block off the last boat ramp, just down from a piece of county property. I'll get the drawings and everything and show you. No, this is the south end, the Lower Lake Road. Lower Lake Road, where they used to have the policeman's lodge at the very end and that kind of thing. But, right now, that property, we did express an interest, and the person decided he sold it to someone else without notifying us. This person has come back and put a fence across the county road. And we've got to take some kind of legal recourse to get that back open. I'll pull the drawings and I'll show you that, and we'll start working, trying to make sure that people have access to fishing on Lake Ferguson. We do have a couple of small pieces of property, nothing we can do anything with. If there are several properties up there now that we may be able to acquire, and Game and Fish is also willing to come in and put a boat ramp in on Lake Ferguson. We've just got to acquire the property. But I'll pull that information together and I'll show it to you, because we do need your help to get that fence off the road. I didn't want to send the road department up there to take it down, or put a fence across for our property.
So does that bar people from going back there and fishing off the rock pile?
Yes,
That's what it's called.
yes.
I don't think we need to send a letter, and if they don't take it down, we just take it down if it's on the county road. I mean, that's just running out. I just got one other question going back to, Lake Lee that they hadn't been fishing at. The lady that wouldn't sell the property or wouldn't release it, what is the status of the property? Is she keeping the grass cut, or is the county keeping the grass cut, or what?
What happens is you actually have some private landowners back who have cabins back there. Who actually have property back there.
Over, beyond.
They use that same access. They go through that gate, and they got access.
Did she not rent that access to those?
I don't know, it was a hunting club in there, plus you had the people in my calling their names who actually own property back in
Where
there.
you talking about now, Lake Lee? You back
I'm
on
going
Lake
back to Lake Lee, but I'm saying the property that she is she keeping the grass up, or we cutting it, or what's the
Oh,
status of that?
no, they put a gate up going in there, period. You know, with the end of the levee, they put a gate up, so we hadn't been back here, no county business.
So, and that gate is on the county road?
No, that's on
No,
their property.
private road.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, he's
part
talking
of,
about something different down here, but.
oh yeah, it's part of the lease agreement.
Yeah.
Anything else from the board on this particular issue? Reverend, we thank you. We'll have to get with you and, give the crappie anglers some feedback. Good seeing all y'all at one time. Be nice to see y'all on the lake together.
I believe this meeting, Sam, we depending on the supervisor
Yes, sir.
to get us a boat ramp.
All right, appreciate y'all. Okay,
No, he told me to give me some.
District 3 appointment, we got an appointment. I'd like to discuss an appointment for Delta Health System Board of Trustees. The last appointment was appointed to a vacant seat, and it was to finish a term. And at that time, we appointed Mr. Brian Oates to that position. I'm asking the board to reaffirm and reappoint Mr. Brian Oates to finish out.
All right, y'all have a good one. All right, gentlemen, y'all have a good one. All right. Yes, sir. He said, look at that.
Okay, board appointment, Brian Oates, Delta Health Systems.
Is that an at-large, or is that?
No,
your
it's District
appointment?
3. That's District 3. Yeah,
And
he
you're
was,
District 3.
yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
So moved to approve.
And who are you appointing?
I'm reappointing Brian Oates, who was just finishing out the term of Ms. Mildred Crockett.
But it's a new term now, isn't it?
No, the term, yes it is, it started in October, we just missed the appointment. now it's come into a brand new term. Yeah, but he was finishing out a term at that time. And, yeah.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We didn't add anybody to the agenda, huh?
Set a record.
We after 10.
You want to be on the job?
Shalisa, you got this 6-month bid report? Which one of y'all got that? You got that. We took that off. County Administrator's report, some of you. Mr. Anderson or Dunn, did y'all want to address the board? Good enough. Executive session. All right, we got an executive session for what reason? Personnel. Jerry? Personnel? Griff? You need a lead?
What's the state aid for it? You want state aid?
No. That's dead.
No.
That's dead.
It's been done.
That's dead.
No.
No, no. No, we've got a personnel matter for executive session. Need a motion to add.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Question?
I don't know, we can find out. That's just my first thing.
Well, it's a personnel matter. You good?
No, that's what the personnel board.
But I mean, we didn't go
No,
into
it's not.
executive session, let's go into executive
No, it's
session.
not.
We got a motion and a second. She
Got
can
a
tell
motion
us
and a
and we
second.
go
Any
from
other
there.
questions about the executive session?
You got a second?
I got a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Carter, your report.
Good morning.
I got a question. We just added to the agenda.
Add. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we did.
That's all the motion was to add this to the
Add to the
agenda.
agenda. for the
Okay.
executive session. Go ahead, Ms. Carter.
We have expended 67.8% of our budget through June 21st compared to a plan of 75%. Our receipts deposited June 8th through the 17th total $380,440.97. I am requesting board approval of our claims docket totaling $738,192.36.
Questions? I need a motion. I got a motion and a second. Need a second.
Second.
And I got a second. Questions about this $700,000 plus claims paid out? All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed?
One abstention.
One abstention. That's a good. I got one abstention, Ms. Owens, Gordon, abstained from approval of the claims paid. Ms. Carter.
Requesting payment in the amount of $4,971.10 to Hook Engineering Services for inspection, monthly reporting, and construction surveying on LSVP 7627 Fraser Road.
So moved.
I got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting travel for Emergency Management Director David Burford to attend the Northwest Central Regional Fire Coordinators Meeting on August 6, 2021 in Holcomb, Mississippi with estimated cost of $0.
So moved.
Got a motion? Need a
So-
second? I need a second? And got a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Show Ms. Brooks the way to proceed.
Requesting travel for tax assessor Mark Sear to attend the annual Mississippi Assessors and Collectors Association Conference on July 11th through the 15th in Oxford, Mississippi with an estimated cost of $791.32.
Motion.
So moved.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Show Brooks the way to proceed.
Requesting travel for county supervisors to attend the 2021 National Association of Counties Conference on July 8th through the 13th in Prince George's County, Maryland with an estimated cost of $7,000. And permission to use county credit card.
Yeah.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second.
That's-
All
Where-
in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed?
Where's that at?
In Prince George's County, Maryland.
That's NACO.
That's in Maryland.
Who?
That's the National Association of Counties. That's the NACO meeting in Prince George County. Now, the only trick to that is if you're flying, whether you fly to Greenville.
I won't be going.
Whether you fly to Greenville, to Nashville, or Dallas. You have to watch your connecting serious issues with booking
Yeah,
in America, and that's normally what we take out of those airports to DC.
Count me out.
Now, let me do this for you. The deadline for registration for the conference and the rooms is the 23rd. So you've got to make up your mind before the 23rd.
Well, I will
Now,
be
they might,
Go and do my registration. All right, thank you.
the reservation strict on the airline. Be very careful. That's an 18-hour run if you're gonna drive.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna drive there. I'm gonna have to fly.
18 hours.
If you drive.
No, I'm gonna fly.
So don't even think about it. I'm sorry, because
You gonna drive this?
hey, y'all, she's already made reservations, I believe. So if you're not doing it, you gotta let us know. What do you need from us, Ms. Carter?
Confirmation.
You need confirmation before the green?
Yeah, I have to,
Mala.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk today.
okay.
I got it. As long as I can confirm that flight, American is the trick. Don't want it, don't take it.
And then if I make the flight arrangements, you know, they don't give money
No,
back
you
on
book.
flights.
You're locked.
So I would need to know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Carter.
Requesting approval to submit reimbursement requisitions in the amount of $1,650,641.90 to Trustmark National Bank and to include the Chancery Clerk and the Sheriff's signature.
Reimbursement.
So moved.
Yeah.
Point information for,
Tell them, Ms. Carter.
what the reimbursement is for.
The requisitions we sent to Trustmark for reimbursement is due, it's a part of the debt for the jail.
Oh, okay.
Did I get a motion in a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Show Supervisor Redmond away from the seat.
Requesting payment in the amount of $74,211.36 to Hook Engineering Services for surveying, field review plans, office review plans, PSD 4 ERBR 7604 Murphy Road.
All right, do y'all understand that? That's the payment for Murphy Road where you just turned the state money down.
Well, we can't, we turn it down, we can't approve.
Yo, you got to pay that bill.
So moved. He's
This
already
bill
done
is
the work.
what?
Wait a minute, we gotta set up, Ms. Brooks. Ms. Brooks,
I'm
what's the question?
gonna go ask this meeting, and he gonna set for me, I'm gonna talk to this bill.
I still got 3 people, what y'all wanna do?
So moved, right.
I got a motion
We got that.
and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Show Brooks and, Redmond away from their seat.
Requesting payment of $1,500 to J. Riley Collins Consulting LLC for legal services and contract payment for the Washington County Election Commission. That's their attorney.
Okay, going back to
Need a
Murphy Road,
motion?
my vote was nay for Murphy Road.
You weren't here for the vote. We don't
Okay, I'm
vote.
just letting you know, my vote was nay for Murphy Road.
We showed you away from your seat.
No, you said I was away from my seat, but I heard I was in the room.
That guy's a motion. I need a second.
My vote was nay, so y'all can put it in the
Yeah,
minutes.
I need a second.
What we,
Tell him again, Ms. Carter.
Legal services and contract payment for the Washington County Election Commissioner.
second.
I got a motion and a second for legal service, Washington County Election Commission. If there are no questions, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Requesting approval to reject all reverse auction bids for the 6-month supply bids for the road department and to re-advertise. And the reason being is because the website had technical difficulties at that moment and everyone could not get on the website to even participate in the reverse
So
auction.
moved, appreciate you.
I got a motion and a second for rebidding or what you call it?
Re-advertise.
Re-advertise.
And effective July 1, they will no longer do, yep, they will no longer do reverse auction for term bids.
Good enough.
So that's.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, that's unanimous.
Requesting travel for Chancery Clerk Marilyn Housing to attend the Mississippi Chancery Clerks Convention on July 13th through the 16th in Biloxi, Mississippi, with the estimated cost of $714.
Motion.
Second.
I need a motion and a second. That's Brooks and Benson. That's a motion and a second, Brooks and Benson. Any other questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
We did have one bid for the 6-month supply bids for the road department that was not reverse auction. And the bid is from Henry Construction Company, and it's for the reclaimed crushed concrete at $21 per ton and the recycled asphalt at $20 per ton. I'm asking approval to submit this over to the road department so that we can review it.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Brooks and Gordon, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I'm done.
And she's done.
Good for you.
And no additions. Ms. Bernadine, it's on you.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Second Redmond, motion Gordon. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any questions? Any opposed? Motion carries. You good? That's it? All right, we're gonna also need a resolution for, Mrs. Ansel, lost her mother. Her mother's name is Mrs. Doris Payton. And I need approval for a resolution.
So moved.
I got a motion and a second. Brooks and Rip, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's it, huh? And no additions, we got one addition, which that is an executive session. Lee, you good?
Yeah, you got the sheriff's here. They got.
Oh, sorry. Man, y'all got, see, normally Mr. Miles would be walking. Huh? He wouldn't move.
I'm not offended.
Huh?
Good morning.
Morning.
Greetings, everyone. First off, I'd just like to, request permission for us to issue this weapon, which is a 40 caliber handgun to Assistant Chief Miles, who's going to retire at the end of this month. So we just requesting permission to issue him this gun.
Give me a motion.
Second.
All right, Sheriff Supervisor Redmond making the motion for, to honor, Chief Deputy Miles with a gold-plated 40 caliber. No.
I can make it go. Y'all want to go make it go?
With this firearm.
And we can make it
Seconded by Supervisor Gordon. If there are no other questions, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed?
Let me just say for the
Motion
record, these guns, we issue them to people who have 20 years or more of service.
Yeah.
At the Sheriff's Department of Legal.
Oh, we give them a gun? You
Come
they
on,
giving
show the
out
record.
Glocks?
Man, that's nice.
Chief Redmond,
Don't touch.
is there,
Okay.
Ain't that?
Don't pick it up, no point in it.
Let me not live on the wild side.
listen,
Anything else?
yes, sir, then I want, the sheriff requesting permission to apply for JAG grant, which is, I think the due date is the 26th of next month. In any event, we always, apply for the JAG grant, we just hadn't done it in about 7, 8 years.
So moved.
I got a motion and a second. Brooks and Benson, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Also, we want to apply for the Homeland Security grant that is due 16th of next month.
Second.
I got a motion and Redmond and Brooks motion and second.
And
It
that's,
was really
All
Benson.
in favor?
Benson made that motion.
All right, Benson and Brooks, I'm sorry.
I do have.
All in favor of the motion, show by sign of aye.
we
Lee.
want to make sure Chief Redmond get his 38 that he had. All right.
Lee?
When's your last working day? So you won't be back in here with us anymore. Well, I want to tell you, I appreciate you for your professionalism and your calm demeanor. I appreciate you, really do. I thought you've always carried yourself real well for us and stuff, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I second that. Appreciate it.
And for those of you who don't know, we're going to have an appreciation luncheon for him tomorrow, so don't forget it at 12 o'clock.
Where's it gonna be?
Wait to get
It's gonna
finished.
be at the convention center.
We're gonna eat good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, we're gonna eat good.
All right, Ms. Brooks.
We're going to extend that on to Mother's Day.
Tomorrow.
Yes, sir, we're gonna do something for them at Mother's Day, but another fine.
Anyone else? Ms. Brooks?
Also, I'm elated, liberated that we got a national new holiday, Juneteenth. I would like to spread across the minds that Washington County recognizes as a national holiday, Juneteenth. That's my motion.
As a part of your motion, as attorney, we need to figure out when we celebrate, what do we do? Let me tell you what I'm thinking. Juneteenth turned out to be a federal holiday.
Can I get finished? I know we're not, because today officially is the official, but I'm looking to, first of all, Washington County recognized it as a federal holiday, and I know it will go into effect the following year because today will be recognized officially as Juneteenth.
Okay.
And in response to that, I think what has to happen is the Mississippi State Legislature has to authorize that, because you cannot close state buildings without authority of the state itself. So as a consequence, in order for this board to authorize closure.
No, we're not, this is not about authorizing.
That's not the motion.
This motion was to recognize it as a national holiday.
All right.
That's what this
Yeah.
motion
That's
was.
just-
Right.
And that's part of,
Yes. You do that.
I need that as part of the conversation, because we have county employees who are actually looking to be off Friday. And we need to understand is why they didn't get off Friday and
Well,
what
actually,
we're going to do going forward.
well, the thing is, right, we couldn't do anything because we hadn't even addressed it. I mean, it was just passed nationally, I got that, but all we're doing by this motion just to recognize it as a national holiday, and it will go into effect of 2022
All right.
to recognize it.
All in favor of the motion, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we're going to do it 2022. Outstanding. But there were phone calls,
I'm sure it was.
and I guess by Friday evening, I was one of the most hated persons because Ms. Carter had to tell him, Carl said, no, you can't be out.
Well, nobody was up. And also, and I want to recognize, I also would just want to commend you, Mr. Percy Miles. I wish you much success in your second life, whatever you do next. And I always come on back over here if you want to come and talk to us and inform us on anything.
Okay.
On Juneteenth, who the state legislature will authorize it. So
Right.
it can be
Pretty sure they will.
recognized.
All right. So, Vincent, you good? I didn't. You good? Mr. Rebel, you good?
Not good, but I'm all right.
Okay. You all remember when we got the request from Unity Christian Academy, the use of Legion Field, and we had set them up to talk with people at the sportsplex for the use of that field. We need to do that again. We got another letter, Ms. Carter, from them making that same request since people are starting to remove restrictions. So Lee, I'll call you today, Ms. Carter, if you don't have that letter, and we'll shoot it to you. But we just need to contact the person at the Sportsplex Foundation to put them together to make that happen. The other day, there was a comment, a question that came up at the legislative meeting on Thursday night, was it, Tom? When we were there, Thursday night. And one person actually asked the question, what's being done from an economic development standpoint to attract the investor into this area with the 300-plus jobs? And of course, somebody deferred and it went off the deep end as saying that we need to fire the economic development, that kind of thing. But, and the supervisors hire him, that kind of thing. But very calmly, we responded, but let me share this with you all, what's being done, just in case. If you all remember back sometime, we were given or notified through the Economic Alliance that we had been given site-ready certification from Entergy for a new industrial site at the intersection of Highway 61 and Highway 82. Each one of you received a aerial video of that intersection showing you where the proposed new industrial park will go at that intersection,
Now, what intersection?
82 and 61.
Oh, in Leland.
In Leland.
Oh, okay, well, say Leland, then so everybody on the same page.
It's illegal. If you don't remember the video, I'm gonna shoot it back to you.
Send that video to me.
Yeah, send it back to.
I don't think Ms. Brooks was here when they gave it to her.
Yes, she was.
I don't think so. I think it's for her time. But go ahead. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, go
Just
ahead.
send it to me.
I'm gonna shoot it to Ms. Brooks. It's important that you're able to.
Because if I had it, I'm shot it away.
All right. This was done as part of the push for the full laning of 61 south to 20, 27 to 55, part of that and the economic impact it would have. And why it's important to have that industrial park right at that intersection, just up from the I-69 corridor. So, you know, if you don't have it, that's it, but it's not that no one's making an effort to be prepared for the 300 plus or the 3,000 job opportunity to come here. We're ready to go.
I think efforts are being made hands down. Sometimes the general public just don't see the efforts, but efforts are being made every day. The biggest concern is with that bypass, that's a whole nother ball game. And then from 61, going out the way from 61 to what he just said to
2755.
Warren County. Yeah, that is real economic development, not even just for Washington County. It's really economic development for everything that's west of the state of Mississippi, from Natchez all the way up to going up to Memphis. So economic development is going on right now. It's more on the legislative level, but I think on a county level, what we should be doing is really dealing with our infrastructure, cleaning up our county, looking at our school districts, more so our public school districts, because at the end of the day, when we're trying to bring industry here, the two things they're gonna look at, well, three things: your infrastructure, your crime, and your public education. They real strong about that. So some of the concerns I think we can do as county leaders, let's start working more closely with our school districts, find out what is it that we as county leaders can do to help improve our schools. And it could be some just small legislative decisions we make, I'm not sure, because I'm not an educator, but I think that's gonna be real key, because public education is the workforce for industry, and that's why they look at public education.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can I say something while she's at that point? I agree on that, especially she said something about cleaning up too. Make sure y'all give Roy just another reminder on the dumpsters. He's ready to go, get where he wants them to go. The other thing, we don't directly have an impact on it, but you can talk to the city councilman or whoever represents, maybe your district falls over in theirs. Something I was very disappointed in the other day too. Me and my wife ride our bikes sometimes from the airport to Cleveland, and we park out there at the airport. I was very disappointed by that airport grass look. I said, if people are coming in here to visit Greenville, I was just disappointed. It was grown up, the cracks of we got potentially a beautiful place out there. And again, I don't know what kind of, if you talk to the mayor very much, but need to let them know. I mean, if anything we can do, but it looked terrible out there, and I was just very, very disappointed. If I was flying somebody in here to show them something, I would have been embarrassed to bring them in. So that's something we can do very easily.
Okay. On this side, the west side of the airport, that entrance,
Yes.
we cut that. The county maintains.
Well, I'm talking about after you get
I
through
know
the
it,
gates.
but we're not allowed to go down
Can
there.
I
Man,
say-
it looks
But
bad.
y'all, I want to finish one more thing, and I promise you,
I just
I'm
want
done.
to add on to what Lee is saying, and I think situations like that should be more interlocal. If we're doing a good job on it, let's say for whatever reason the city can't do what the county's doing, I think that's the time we do need interlocal relationships, because at the end of the day, he's correct. When people do fly in, it's not only just a reflection of Greenville, it's a reflection of Washington County.
You're right.
So I think that, just coming to some consensus on that, but one of the concerns, we talking about economic development, have we heard anything on that project out there and at the airport to make sure it's still moving forward? Because that is a real viable project, and I just would hate, and I know it doesn't fall on us. I know the city of Greenville, we got a report from Mr. Tommy Goodwin saying they was moving forward. But my biggest concern, I haven't heard anything else, and that can potentially create 500 new jobs, and I'm just a little concerned about that. And I'm asking you, Mr. President, would you reach out to be able to give us a follow-up to where they are on that particular project? Because I would hate
I will.
for a project like that to slip by, and we could actually help.
All right, let me, if I may, One thing I need you all's permission to do. Now that we've got interest in the four laning of 61, as you all very well know, the plans from the federal level is still to cross I-69 in Baldwin County. But, what is it? Benoit or Rosedale? But
There's more state now.
but as a part of that, it really have an impact. Now, the Highway 61 project, like Supervisor Butcher said, is going to be significant. But it does not make sense to spend another $600 million to cross the river at Benoit when you spent $300 million and you can cross in Washington County and Chico County. It's nothing against the leadership in Baldwin County, but we as a county are going to have to step up and make the request to actually have them consider crossing here. Any kind of business analysis you do, cost benefit, feasibility, all the numbers dictate it's best to cross here. It does not have a negative impact from an economic standpoint on Bolivar County. It's only positive. Everybody benefits. It even benefits us more with investment of a new industrial park, with the investment of 4-laning 60. Go ahead.
Now, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm gonna tell you what the downfall, what you're talking about. Arkansas, from my understanding, and this coming from a federal, it's more so on the state level, they trying to go their route, but on a federal level, they are still looking at the, coming through Washington County, because to create that bridge, you're looking at almost $900 million for a project like that. And Arkansas, from what I last heard, is a no-go. So if Arkansas is a no-go, I mean, you can't create a half a bridge. So, but anyway, but on the federal level, they're still looking, just using the bridge here.
Yeah.
But this project gonna be
Right.
almost 20
Now,
years.
as a part of that, I'm gonna request the latest drawings that shows the corridor for 69 coming from the bypass up through and
Connecting on 60.
over Kmart, up through the east side of the airport between Metcalf and heading north.
They're not gonna go that route. You know, the route they're looking at going is with the bypass. That's what they're looking at going.
This comes off the bypass. This is connected to the bypass. You're right. This connector comes to the bypass and shoots north.
That's correct.
And that's where it goes. But we need to get our hands on the drawings. In Arkansas, they've actually acquired property already for the future I-69, just like our bypass is already marked off. But I just need the okay from this board to start to stir it up. Go ahead. Arkansas City. But right now, 82 is 4-lane up. But when it gets close to Arkansas City, boom, it's already 4-lane. It's much more cost effective to bring it here. And I just, don't want to be out there and nobody knows what we're doing.
Let's go on and
Well, you go ahead, but be sure we're saying the bypass, not it's the bypass now, because I don't want, because actually what they're looking at on the federal level is using what they're getting ready to go in.
All right.
That's why they're not.
The bypass is complete. I'm talking about Interstate I-69.
I know they looking to use that to go into Leland and eventually turn 61 to 69 to pick up.
All right, we needed to come to Washington County, we're in agreement.
That is Washington County. I just don't want to creating something totally different from what they're looking at.
let's go on and do it.
It don't need a motion, I just need y'all to be on point.
But
Be good.
good.
I just need y'all to be on point. I don't need a motion, we good, as long as everybody's on point.
I want to
All right, but I'll make sure you all got the video, and we'll send you another reminder of the numbers. Senator Simmons did a presentation to us and showed how $3 billion was spent in East Mississippi, only $528 million spent on West Mississippi projects, the disparagement, and that's the basis for the argument for improving infrastructure on this side. But we'll make sure everybody got the update, so when the question arises, you'll know. All right, we got an executive session. Real quick, it's going to be personnel matter. I need a motion to go into close to announce our intent for executive. So moved. I got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're in close right now. Hey, y'all, we're going to the executive session to discuss personnel matter. Jazz, we'll give you a shot. We'll give you another shot. Yeah.
What's she talking about?
She's talking about that illegal application that was
No,
filed
that was
and
not an
sent
illegal
to the
application.
congressman office
board-
without being part of the
let's
board
be clear.
minutes.
The application was
Without
not,
being part of the board minutes.
no,
It was-
sir, it's in the
It was
minutes.
very improper.
No.
It was actually an illegal
Let's be
document.
clear, if you're gonna tell the
All
truth,
right,
it's
I
in
need
the.
a motion to adjourn.
No, we're talking, don't talk over me. Now, if you're gonna tell it, tell the truth. It
All
was
right,
in the.
if you would allow me, I'll tell it.
No, I'm gonna talk.
You allow me?
You said it was illegal, application, but the application are in the minutes. I brought it to Mrs. Bernadine attention, we're gonna be clear about it. She initially thought it wasn't in the minutes till I showed her the YouTube video where the board did approve it. I did talk to the congressman told me that, President McGee said that nobody knew about it, wasn't in the minutes. Actually, I emailed the minutes to Congressman Thompson so he can read them. But the concern was no signature was on that application. My concern is that had the application actually gone through, it would have been approved because actually, and I'm gonna send it to everybody so they can look for themselves. It's a list of every project that was approved. This was the project that I submitted $200,000 for the Jim Henson project and also for the Goya Shopping Center. Only 4 projects going by the federal applications that they sent out was approved, was submitted from the state of Mississippi, and not one came out the 2nd CD, the 1st, or the 4th. Everything came out the 3rd district. So my concern is, y'all, when we have applications, it's not about who's doing it or who's trying to get it. It's just trying to get money for our county. And I'm really, really displeased that our application didn't go through per Congressman Thompson because no signature was on it initially. Do you understand what I'm saying? From our chancellor clerk. I tried to get a signature, for whatever reason, the president would not sign it. So myself, Mr. Redmond, and Bishop Benson signed it. We submitted everything. It had a letter from Mayor Thomas, we had a letter from the Mayor of Greenville for this full project. Had we just got a single signature, really from the president for initially, it could have went on through. And so, and this is not kind of money that you can just go apply for next year. This money, Lee, is money that come around every 50 years. These are kind of projects that's going on. All this money comes from on the federal level. And overall, we really dropped the ball on a project. We could have easily got $200,000 to deal with the issue that Ms. Looney was talking about today. And then also get what we need. So all I'm saying to this board, when we have projects, and I do have connected on the federal level, they always tell me everything is going. I got a couple of friends now, they call me and tell me. And I bring it to the board so that we all can be on the same page. Now, we'll bring this to the board's attention. With the raised grant, because a lot of entities did not submit their letter, they still have it open. What I would like to do, I would like to get with you, each board member, and go and put an application together so we can, and also work with our engineer, so we can submit an application. And I want to hear from each board member on what you want to see in your district, because we just cannot arbitrarily let this money pass us by, because it's not a me project, it is a county project, and I think every supervisory district has something we need to address. And the concern is we make it a major project where we bring each municipality, and I talked to Bishop Benson about this, bring each municipality to this project, because we can't just let this money pass us by and not submit an application.
You gotta let me say something. Let me be clear to this board. There's nowhere in our minutes where this board voted and approved a purchase of Goya Shopping Center. You did
No,
not.
it wasn't purchased, it was to
I did
apply.
not
No, it did not, let's go, if you're gonna, no, but I'm gonna say, let's go back, in that grant, it said to act for acquisition, meaning that we did an application saying that we want to purchase, not just saying we already bought it. So don't twist the words up of the application. The application was done to acquire some property, and we identified the property we want to acquire. That's what we was asking federal dollars for. And once we acquired, we renovated. So meaning that if we got this application, then we would purchase, then we would renovate. It wasn't, the application never said we already purchased it. So don't come and change it up, Mr. President, because that application did not say that.
I'm going to attempt to clarify one more time and one more time.
Well, you don't say what you want to say.
There's nowhere in our minutes that this board had agreed to acquire the Goya Shopping Center project. property. Nowhere. I am not authorized to do something that you all don't approve. You all did not approve any kind of expenditure, nowhere in your minutes, for $209,000, whatever it was, for a rehab project on the Hinton Museum. It's not in your minutes. Absolutely not. I was not signing a document that was improper, it was illegal, it was false, extremely inappropriate, because it's not in your minutes anywhere to acquire or fix a project at the Henson Museum. Today is the first time somebody from the Henson Museum has come and presented issues, and we're gonna work on a project. There have been times when people have tried to convince us we needed to go to your shopping center. We don't. That's why I would never sign a document outside of anything that you all have approved me to do. Ms. Brooks.
Okay, let's go back. This board voted to hire a, architect at $1 to see how much to rehab the Goya Shopping Center. He put a whole spec, this board voted on this, so it's not like this board was not aware of this. This board, and he put the application together to say how much it costs to rehab the facility and also to purchase it. So it's not like this board has never had a conversation about it. I think more so is, personalities was in it. And as far as Jim Henson, right when he was here, Mr. President just told the engineer this is not the first time that we've talked about rehabbing Jim Henson. You said that just recently to the engineer, so it's not like we did not know what projects we needed. I just think so because maybe you didn't put it together, maybe it was a personal issue for you. But the concern is, it's not about me or you. When there's opportunity for us to get some money, I think we all should be proactive and try to find ways. Everything that I brought to the board's attention, I always had conversation about it. So more so because you chose not to sign it, we had 3 board members who want to move forward. And I really hate that we had to do that because the president would not sign some legislation to apply for funding. And I mean, if you come up to me with some funding of Supervisor Gordon, I'm gonna support it 110 any way I can, because at the end of the day, we all are bleeding across the county. But the concern is, again, going back to this other grant, I'm gonna put an application together. I'm gonna talk to each one of you to see what you need in your district. And in the first meeting in July, whoever wants to put some in that grant, I'm gonna submit it in that first meeting in July to move forward to try to get some of these federal dollars.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
And you're probably gonna get mad at me for saying this. So
That's
hold-
fine.
hold- hold-
I'm not gonna
just
get
hold-
mad because
hold-
everybody got an
hold-
opinion.
Hold your tune until I get finished, okay? You're the type person, you work real hard at stuff. And you could do so much. And this is just, if you get mad, I'm not even gonna argue with you about it. I'll just get up and leave. But in order to get people on board, because a lot of things, when people ask me about you, my first thing that I say, she's not a lazy person. She's very aggressive, and you can get some stuff done, and I believe you can get some stuff done. But Marla, it's all about that. I want to support you sometimes, but I keep a distance because I mean, sometimes you can get I ain't gonna use the word too aggressive, but the avenues that you take with it, and it may not always come out to where you want it to, and you gotta be upset. But as far as everybody around this table, I believe you're the hardest working person in it, and I truly believe that. I believe you're aggressive. Now, sometimes I believe, it gets what you wanna get it done, yeah. And I ain't saying that's all bad, I mean, because you gotta be aggressive like that. But I'm just saying, in the future, especially with me, I'm just speaking for me. If you want me on board stuff, I gotta see a little bit clear. Sometimes it just seems like it just gets in a hurry, and I'm like, oh, I just don't know. And I don't want you to take this in a bad way, and I don't want to argue about it, because I've told myself when I come to this board, I'm gonna try to handle things in the best way I can. So that's just me, just giving my take on it. I don't want to not support you in something that may be good for this county, and just because I don't want to support you or something, I don't want to do that, because that's not fair to this county. So I want you to understand, and again, I'm just speaking for me. So moving forward, now do I think we need a new building? Probably not, but I'll be more inclined to listen, and I hope I've presented myself where I will listen on stuff like that. So that's all it's worth, and I just want to tell you that, moving forward.
Well, Supervisor Gordon, what I will do, I take everything into high sight, and I will find better approaches to come to you so we can work better together, help move the county
I
forward.
appreciate that.
Okay. All right, please, Jerry.
You have to have time to actually think about something, because do you know what I am about now in reference to? I'm about building something from the ground up. We have experienced all of this dilapidated stuff, and we still trying to catch up on a lot of time. We have to build it up. We need to build, just a court building. We need to build one up, and then in the next 50 years, my grandson will be sitting there and he said, well, my granddad had something to do with it.
Okay.
I mean, it is bad that money, and we go and get that building over there. If we go over there and get it, and go to work on, look at the money we're gonna put in that building, and it's already, we need something new.
And changing the subject real quick before we get out of here, we do have time. Arthur called me right before the meeting. His road grader, and this affects everybody, the one they tear up the road with, is busted. It's $50,000 for the fix on it. No, this is a road grader.
It helps to reclaim.
Yeah, it's 12 years old. A replacement's about $150,000. So you're talking about a third of what it would cost for that. So he was supposed to be here today with it, but he wasn't able to get. I said, told him to get a price on what a replacement will be and see if we could rent one until we could get one. Because even if we gave him the okay to get one, he said we probably won't get one until next year. That's how far. So he said he thought he could rent one. So just putting that on your mind, because it really don't need to wait 2 weeks if he can find one to lease.
So we need to just go and give him the authority to lease one.
Yeah, if it's approval, we do need to get that because it really don't need to wait. So I make
So move.
Y'all, all right, I got a motion from the finance committee. That's fine,
Okay.
no, wait a minute, hold up. Now, where are we in the budget session? I'm looking at money now for this acquisition.
I'm just talking about leasing one right now.
We just
So
need to lease it, we got
Yeah,
to.
but yet still.
But it puts him at a standstill if you
Now,
don't.
we ain't got time, I agree with you,
All right,
we
we're
ain't
gonna
got
have
time
to
to
add
stop.
that particular item, the lease, so it's going to be the lease of, you're gonna call it a motor grader, you're gonna call it a reclaim.
Road grade, yeah.
You're gonna call it a road grader.
Well, now that's a different tool than the tear-up machine. I ain't talking about tear-up machine.
All right, as long as you know.
I'm gonna add to the agenda, roads and bridges.
I made a motion already
That
to
a
move
motion, you
forward
got the
with.
second. All right, I got a motion from Supervisor Brooks, a second from Supervisor Gordon. There's no more discussion. Where's the money?
Well, he may have it in his lease, but we gotta find it somewhere.
He has it in his lease. He does. He has it in his lease.
All right, we got it. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
That way
Any
we just
opposed?
put the new one in the.
Motion carries. Okay, anything else?
No, my motion was made to approve of the lease, that's the motion I made.
Yep. We had to add it to the agenda.
We didn't have the preach on the agenda, but we took action with him this morning. Well, I move that we add this motion to the agenda, this action we just took, I move we add this action we took to the agenda and be approved.
Move to add.
Got a motion and a second? Don't ask no questions, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
See, is that something?
All right, and now we need a motion to adjourn to the first.
Have you approved? Jay Cox.
Yes.
Yes, sir. If I ran up on a problem and seven times the county school, and they had get ready for graduation, and we have thousands of people showed up in Hollandale for the graduation, and I asked the road manager, could we go there and cut the ditch? Now, it's right there at the school, and when you come in, it's a driveway, it's a ditch that they couldn't have, they really couldn't cut it. And he was afraid. And I told him to cut it, repercussion I would take it. But I can't see as it being a county school that we would have a problem with trying to assist the school.
Y'all got it cut?
I'm sitting here. Well, all you need to do, Mr. Labor, on that, but I wouldn't advise you to do it regularly because of the school you asked to ratify at the next board meeting. If you did it. I don't think you're gonna ask us to do it, but this is Thursday, we get ready for graduation, that's Sunday.
county own the school?
Nope.
No.
That's a
Well,
county school, ain't it?
No, the county doesn't own the school, that's school property. Was it old school property? I think so, I don't know, I do know this.
City of Hollandale right
It
away.
was either, our city property. I think, well, that's county property where it is, because that part of the school is not in the city.
He good then.
Okay?
He counted right away.
Just ask him,
You
right,
have-
if long
no,
county right away.
No, he don't have to. He ain't gotta ask nothing. It's counted right away.
Right, I'm saying, but if it's on school property, if it's on school property, you gotta
No.
ask the board to ratify, but if it's on county property, that's different.
All right, now, keep in mind, he said ditch right by the road. It's in the county right away.
Okay.
That's a
He's
county
good.
right away.
Yeah.
You good? It's in the county right away. It's within 15 feet from the center of the road.
I thought it was 30
Right,
feet. I
Jerry.
thought it was 30 feet from the center. 30 feet.
If you grade 15, you good. It's 30. But you good, Jerry. All right, I need a motion to actually adjourn till our next meeting. When is the next meeting? I got one more thing we gonna do before we adjourn. Now, Ms. Griff, talk to us about Mill Creek, please.
Mill Creek, we have a lease with Mill Creek, and for the last 2 years, we have been getting it extended. My understanding that they may or may not stay in the community. The original lease was for 4 years. In 2019, they started getting an extension, an annual extension. It expires on July 14th. And Mr. McGee brought it, asked me the other day, and I looked at it, and while I recommend you extend it, we need to try to get a long-term lease with them, even if we have an opt-out clause in it.
The option out gives them the chance to cancel the lease even on an annual basis. But now they can cancel in 3 months with no repercussions, once you put the option in.
Would you talk to them about that and see if they're amenable to that?
So that's what we're gonna do?
I don't know.
Is that what we're gonna do, is get an opt-out?
Right now, they're asking for an extension on what they
For
got.
1 year. But he says instead of going back and giving these 1-year extensions,
Maybe give them this extension, then work on something for the next one.
Well, I was speaking in terms of giving them a 1 year, see if they are amenable to a multi-year extension with an opt-out provision. Let's say they can give the county 90 days notice or 60 days notice.
Are you gonna try that this go around though?
Right.
if you approve.
We got time because the lease doesn't expire till July 14th, and we'll know by the first of the month.
Well, we got to approve it by then, but keep in mind, if you give them the opt-out clause, they can hold at least 90 days and get out.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Now, that's
But you're not coming back yearly.
No, you're
You're doing a 5-year lease or 10-year lease with an opt-out.
but if you want, all right, we spent $94,000 putting a new roof, 94,000, putting a new roof on it. Now, we finna repaint the building, which is not a big deal, it's basic maintenance. It's not a problem. But I'd much rather hold their feet to the fire for the 12 months than giving them 3 months that we know we got.
I'm talking about 3 months beyond the 1 year, okay? Guaranteed 1 year.
Okay,
And
okay.
subsequent to that, okay?
Okay, but anytime after that, they,
That gives you the incentive to paint the building while it's still there.
well, we won't paint it. Supervisor.
Now, I asked that question a minute ago, and all y'all start talking. Now, what I wanna know is can I please be respected when I am asking a question, because I'm a gangster in a sense, and I know how to overtalk everybody in this room, but I wanna respect y'all, so I want respect, okay?
Apologize, that's my fault. Sorry, sir.
Okay, I want respect.
All right, that's my fault. Sorry about that.
I have one other question.
dude,
Let me get out. See, y'all be having me in another world. Okay, go ahead, I'm going along with you.
one thing I will say, one thing I've come to know, when it comes to, we can look at these leases, but when it comes to leasing stuff out, you can do the numbers. We'll never come out ahead on some of these buildings. The point of buildings is to get jobs and opportunities, and that's what that is. So, yes, it is important, but you have to look at the opportunities that those businesses create, because we'll never come out on the winning end of that. We even with that $90,000 roof, none of us never lived long enough to see that, paying for itself with the rent as it is right now.
How much is that rent a month?
Like
$2,800?
$2,500 a month.
28?
Yeah. So you talking about $90,000 in years before that.
All right,
But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there.
all right, we finna wrap this up.
Let's go.
I think it's the 5th of July.
6.
6th, is the 5th a holiday?
Yes.
The fifth is a holiday too, so I'll see y'all on.
All right, 6th of July, reset, adjourn to the 6th of July.
Amen.
Appreciate y'all. I got a motion?
Amen.
I need an amen for a second.
Amen.
All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All
Supervisor
right, Ms.
Gordon.
Brooke, Ms. Brooke, you gonna stick around at 12, you won't just be close and good call. Hey, y'all turn these mics off. Ms. Carter,